Carlos Sainz has finally made the decision on where he'll be driving from 2025 onwards. The soon-to-be ex-Ferrari driver was the hottest property on this year's silly season, and his decision to play it slow in case of a Mercedes or Red Bull seat being available kept the backmarker teams from making a decision as well. With him having pulled the trigger and announced he'll be driving for Williams from next season, this summer break will likely see the 2025 grid decided. Sainz's decision between Alpine, Sauber and Williams was a tough one, but his decision says more about how badly things are going at Sauber and Alpine rather than how well Williams are doing. Today, I'll check out how Sainz's decision exposes just how deep the massive problems at Audi and Alpine run, so don't go anywhere. So the big news is that Carlos Sainz has finally signed a contract for next season. For a driver who has always said he wants contracts sorted out of season so he can focus on driving, waiting until the summer break seems odd, but this season wasn't that simple. Sainz said an exceptionally complex Formula One drivers market delayed his decision to sign a 2-year deal with Williams from next season. The Spaniard will leave Ferrari at the end of 2024 after the 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton was announced as his replacement earlier in the year. Sainz has won 3 F1 races in his career to date, the latest of which came at the Australian Grand Prix in March. For the first time in F1 history, the 2024 season saw all teams on the grid stick with the same driver lineup from the year before, but there is much more upheaval ahead of 2025. Having previously driven for Toro Rosso, Renault and McLaren, Sainz has been linked with a number of seats for the 2025 season, including Alpine, Sauber and Mercedes. However, his immediate future was decided on Monday when it was confirmed he has agreed an initial 2-year deal with Williams. This move means he joins Alain Prost and Nigel Mansell as the only drivers who have driven for McLaren, Ferrari and Williams. Of course, joining Williams isn't quite the achievement it was when Prost and Mansell were at the team. Both drivers won a championship for them in the 90s, but Sainz's chances of repeating that feat are pretty slim. I'm very happy to announce that I'll be joining Williams Racing from 2025 onwards, the 29-year-old said. However, I am fully confident that Williams is the right place for me to continue my F1 journey, and I am extremely proud of joining such a historic and successful team, where many of my childhood heroes drove in the past and made their mark on our sport. The ultimate goal of bringing Williams back to where it belongs, at the front of the grid, is a challenge that I embrace with excitement and positivity. I am convinced that this team has all the right ingredients to make history again, and starting on the 1st of January, I will give my absolute best to drive Williams forward alongside every single member of the team. Sainz will join up with Alex Albon for 2025, forming Formula One's first ever appendixless driver pairing. But more significantly, the announcement means Logan Sargent's F1 career is likely at an end. While he's failed to make an impression on the F1 grid, Logan will undoubtedly have a successful career in motorsport, with many IndyCar teams believed to be interested in signing him for next year. Alternatively, he could always follow the large number of ex-Formula One drivers who now race in the World Endurance Championship. Team boss James Vowles was very keen to spin the signing of Carlos Sainz as a show of how well his team are doing and how promising they look as a prospect. Carlos joining Williams is a strong statement of intent from both parties, said the Williams team principal. Carlos has demonstrated time and again that he's one of the most talented drivers on the grid, with race-winning pedigree, and this underlines the upwards trajectory we are on. Carlos Sainz's decision came down to 3 options at the end of the day. While there was potential for a place at Red Bull or Mercedes, the reality of the situation was that he was choosing between Alpine, Sauber, who will become Audi in 2026, and Williams. While it is true that Williams have been improving since Vowles joined the team, Sainz's decision isn't the stunning endorsement of the Williams project that it might seem. Actually, his decision highlights how badly things at Alpine and Audi are going. While Sauber might not be called Audi yet, it is Audi pulling the strings and making decisions about driver contracts now, so I'll refer to them as Audi from now on. Before talking about that mess though, let's start with Alpine. Sainz's decision for where he drives in 2025 was less important than what that team could be in 2026. With a massive regulation change which will bring a brand new engine and technical regulations, he could have gambled on a poorly performing team for 2025 if he thought they would be good in 2026. If he went to Audi, he would be in an Audi-powered car. His decision to join Williams means he'll be in a Mercedes-powered car. If he went to Alpine, He might have been in a Renault-powered car, or it might be Mercedes-powered. No one is quite sure yet. Mercedes absolutely nailed the last set of engine regulation changes. In 2014, they absolutely dominated thanks to an incredible engine and its innovative split-turbo design. Word on the street is that the Mercedes powertrain division is looking very strong again for 2026. Perhaps not as dominant as they were in the early years of the turbo hybrid era, but it's a possibility. Vowles has even gone on record stating the expectation is Mercedes will be one of the best, if not the best engine in 2026. If that happens, then Williams could be something of a dark horse, especially as James Vowles' overhauling of the technical department at Williams will be finished, bringing the knowledge of how Mercedes became so dominant to the backmarker team. Sainz's desire to have a Mercedes engine was cemented by Alpine only seriously entering the frame when Flavio Briatore joined the team and convinced Renault CEO Luca De Meo the best strategy was to kill its own engine and do a Mercedes deal instead. It was specifically the shift from being a works team to being a Mercedes customer that made Alpine more appealing. That shows how much Sainz valued the engine when considering his options, as well as underlining how unconvincing Alpine was on its own. The team is falling to pieces behind the scenes with yet another team principal fired at the Belgian Grand Prix. A team that is getting its third team boss in just over 12 months is not a stable team. Alpine is not a happy place to be at the moment, and with work on the 2026 car beginning at the end of this year, the instability in their management structure will inevitably impact their competitiveness in the new regulations. So even despite them potentially now having a Mercedes engine, they just are not a good prospect for Carlos Sainz. If you want a deep dive into what is going wrong at Alpine and why they might not even be on the grid in 2026, then check out my video from Sunday on the subject. With the future of Alpine up in the air, it's pretty obvious why Carlos would want to avoid them. But why would he want to avoid Audi as well? For a long time it seemed almost guaranteed he would go there. His father is a big part of the Audi motorsport program. They're a huge manufacturer with a history of motorsport excellence, and while no one expected them to enter the sport and instantly win races, they were billed as the next Mercedes. It took Mercedes just 3 seasons to get their first race win, and won both championships in their 5th season. Everything was sounding incredibly promising, but in recent months, cracks have started to appear. Sauber's incredibly bad 2024 season is just the start of the issues that Audi are having. Andreas Seidl, Sainz's old McLaren boss, was thought to be a big plus for the Spanish driver, but an internal management struggle between Seidl and Audi's chief representative of Formula 1, Oliver Hoffmann, created problems. With the two attempting to get each other fired, Audi apparently got bored of the struggle and decided to just sack both of them instead. While Alpine's management problems are significant, the ones at Audi are potentially even bigger. With a brand new project ramping up, hundreds of new staff joining over the coming months, and their first ever car starting to be designed at the end of the year, they need to have consistency and stability to succeed. Firing the 2 people running the project doesn't provide consistency or stability. It actually does the exact opposite. In Seidl's place comes Mattia Binotto, another one of Sainz's ex-team principals, but if there was any chance of impressing Carlos enough to get him to choose the team for 2025, Binotto came too late to make a difference. On top of the management issues, there is the uncertainty of a brand new manufacturer. While their engine project is reportedly going well, Audi has nothing to base that statement on, having never made an F1 engine before. While they may have been successful in other motorsport categories, F1 is a completely different beast to anything else globally, and the odds of Audi nailing their first ever F1 engine and car are incredibly slim. Sainz probably thought it was actually impossible, and he'd probably be right. With uncertainty over what is happening behind the scenes, the unimaginable challenge of building an F1 engine and car, and a currently uncompetitive outfit, Audi looked like a train wreck waiting to happen. They're just as likely to be surprisingly good as they are surprisingly bad, and that was enough to sway Sainz's decision. So while Carlos's choice to join Williams could look like an endorsement of what the team are doing, the reality is it's more of a statement of how uncertain the future of Alpine and Audi are. Being the lesser of 3 evils probably isn't what Williams wanted, but they'll take Carlos Sainz however they can get him. What do you think of Carlos's move to Williams? Did he make the right choice, or should he have taken a gamble on a dodgy-looking Alpine or Audi team? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and until next time, drive safe and bye for now.